Okay, so it's 9:30, so good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so as usual, check your surroundings. Make sure nothing you can slip on, trip on. Remember that you don't have to push yourself to the maximum. Okay, so just moderate intensity, a little bit out of breath. If you don't feel comfortable at any points, feel free to stop or slow down. Don't need to ask. Don't need to ask me. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so we'll still start off with a couple minutes of warm up. So just moving any way you prefer. Grab as many chairs for support as you need to. Okay, but still watch your posture. So stand a little bit taller. So lengthen through your spine. Widen your shoulders a little bit more. Okay, kind of relax your shoulders so you're stringing from the shoulders as well. Okay, so deep breath in. Okay, deep breath out. Okay, and we'll keep going for a couple of minutes. While we do this, we're also going to just move our joints a little bit. Okay, so we'll look left and right first. Take it as slow as you need to. Stop if you don't feel comfortable. Okay, so we just 3 to 5 times per side. Okay, so let's rotate the entire upper body a little bit. So just swinging your arms side to side. If you can, see if you can reach behind your hips a little bit. Okay, but take it slow, take it gentle with the shoulders in the morning. I'm going to let more people in. Okay, let's look up and down. So tucking your chin in, pushing our chin up a little bit. Might be easy if you breathe out as you look down, breathe in as you look up. Yeah, I might have to just mute everyone for a second. Just so it's okay. Okay, same idea. We're going to move the spine along the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to breathe in as you reach up with the shoulders, reach back, okay, and breathe out as we get our shoulders down and forward. And so relax the spine so that it kind of bends and extend as you move your shoulders. Okay, kind of 3 to 5 times in one direction, and then 3 to 5 times the opposite direction. Okay, so just a very exaggerated shoulder circle. For 3 to 5 times. Okay, a little bit of side bending, which lets look, tuck a chin in, tuck a head down slightly on one side. Just kind of keep marching. Hold on if you need support. Okay, just feel a little bit of stretch here. Okay, and we're just gonna move our arms up. Maybe touch the ear or behind the head. Okay, and back down. Okay, slowly see if you can reach a little bit further down your neck, or you can think of getting your elbows up a little higher. Okay, coming back to center, pause for a second. Okay, when you feel ready, you can do the same for the other side. So lift the other ear up and kind of just maybe touch the ear first. Slowly see if you can reach a little bit further down your neck, or bring your elbow a little bit higher up. And back to the center. Okay, next we're going to side bend a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to actually bend the lower back a little bit. So reach up and across the midline. See if you can open up your hand as well. So press through the ceiling. Okay, deep breath in as we reach up. Kind of relaxing, breathing out as we come back down. And once again, about 3 to 5 times per side. Just keep moving your feet in some ways if you can. Okay, and shake it out. Okay, now we're going to reach backwards and upwards. Okay, so we're going to rotate the thumbs inwards as we reach back. Okay, we're going to pause for half a second to a second. Okay, and then do the opposite, breathing in, thumbs pointing back. Bring our chest up as well. Pausing for half a second to a second. Okay, and breathing out. See if you can reach back slightly more, maybe. Hold for a little bit. Okay, and breathing in. Lengthen through the fingers, lengthen through the spine. See if you can get your hands a little bit closer to your head. Okay, let's do maybe just a couple more times. Okay, so 3 to 5 times in total. Maybe just one last time. Shake everything out again. Rotating through the elbows and shoulders a little bit more. So elbow stays in place, hands gets pushed out and back together. Opposite direction, lifting elbows up, then reaching to the armpits, reaching out. Kind of rotate your arm back out to the middle. Rotating the wrist, moving the fingers a little bit. Move the wrist a few more times. Open and closing the hand. Okay, open and closing the hand side to side. Okay, bending the tips of our fingers. And just wiggle our fingers. Good. Okay, and just kind of let's give our body a little bit of tap, a little bit of massage. Okay, both inside, outside. Okay, top of the shoulders might be easy to just tap. Okay, top of the chest. Okay, the stomach area, side of the ribs. Be a little careful in the back area, just careful with your shoulders, I mean. Okay, and just go down the side and onto the leg, the back of the leg. Okay, maybe just warm up your knees a little bit more. Okay, kind of loosen your ankles a little bit. Okay, so kind of press your toes into the ground. Try to lift your toes up. Maybe shifting side to side a little bit. Okay, kind of bend and extend both knees. Okay, shifting your weight side to side. Okay, a little bit more of a balance. See if you can pause just a little bit longer on one leg. Okay, just to your own comfort level. Okay, but see if you can just stand on one leg for a little bit longer. Okay, and just kind of rotate your hips. Okay, relaxing your upper body a little bit. Draw a bigger circle all the way around your hips. Okay, so head can kind of, actually your head kind of stays almost roughly in the same spot. Your hips is the one that's moving a little bit more. Okay, but if anything hurts, remember just to stop. Maybe avoid that area. Okay, so let's start our first 10 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna hear a beep in the background. Every time it beeps, it's kind of 30 seconds. Okay, so first 30 seconds, we're just gonna march on the spot. Maybe bigger, a little bigger motion, a little bit faster than what we did previously. Remember just to relax your shoulders, stringing from the shoulder area. But once again, we just want to get a little bit out of breath. Slow down if you need to. If you feel like you cannot talk at the same time, slow down a little bit. Opposite, if you feel like you can sing a song, you can choose to speed up a little bit. Okay, you're going to slowly ramp up, so pick up your little bigger motion than before. So remember that your pace would be different from mine. So you can choose to go slower or faster. Okay, so roughly roll with the lower body. So let's lift the knees up a little higher. You can even kind of reach with the opposite arm to the knee area. You don't necessarily have to touch, you can just point. Okay, but if you can, see if you can just kind of touch the opposite knee. Staying tall for the spine as we lift the knees up. Okay, and back to the marching. Okay, slowly bring up the pace if you want to. Okay, next one, we are just going to wall the side of the knees, hips a little bit. So we're just going to march with a little bit wider stance. Okay, so a little wider stance. Feel your weight shifting side to side again. Okay, once again, you can kind of see you can still point or touch the opposite knee a little bit. You may have to go a little slower for this. Back to just marching on the spot. So I'm just bringing up my own pace. You can choose to go at your own pace. Okay, we're going to move the muscles in the back. So we're just going to reach back one foot at a time. And we're going to reach out to the opposite hand a little bit. Okay, a little bit of coordination. Okay, so just going to reach back, tap the toes, reaching out to the opposite hand again. So we're using left and right brain at the same time. See if you can feel your butt muscle squeezing a little bit as you reach backwards. Okay, so we're not arching our back, we're using our butt muscles to bring one foot back. And back to the middle. Okay, so let's check our own pace right now. So we're going to take a breath in, count out loud, see what number we can count up to in one breath. Okay, so let's try. So take a breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I can probably go maybe a little bit faster. Okay, so if you can easily count to kind of 10 and above very easily, maybe choose to go a little bit faster. So anywhere from like 6 to 10 is probably a good range. Okay, so you can also, so 10 to 15 usually roughly light exercise, 6 to 10 more moderate, less than 5 definitely vigorous. Okay, so I pretty much choose anywhere from 6 to 15. So let's just go a little bit faster if you want to, or slower depending on how you feel. Okay, let's do a little bit of side walking. So next one, we're going to kind of move on one side, walk to the other side. Okay, you can do small steps side to side. Okay, you can choose to do bigger steps. Completely up to you. Okay, do it in a safe manner. Still marching in the middle. Going. Okay, next one, let's move our elbows a little bit more, so we're going to exaggerate the movement of the lower arm. Okay, and while we do that, we're going to just move front to back a little bit. Okay, so just bigger movement the arms, moving forward and back. Once again, you can do bigger steps or smaller steps, up to you. Take it as slowly as you need to, going backwards. Okay, still checking our own intensity. Okay, so let's move the arms a little more. We're going to just swing up and down. Okay, while we do that, let's just do the half jumping jack. We're just moving our shoulders a little more first. It could be just forward level. That will be easy on the shoulders. You can go bigger motion if you want. Okay, but take it slowly at the beginning. Okay, so let's just still go a little bit faster this time. Let's rotate your arms. You might be on your toes a little more. Okay, slowly bring your arms up a little bit. Bring it back down. Okay, slowly back down. Five more seconds. Okay, and let's just reach across while bringing our one foot out. Okay, see if you can exaggerate movement a little bit as well. So reach across, rotate the hips. And slowing back down. Okay, so that was our first 10 minutes. So just remember to keep moving. If you feel like your heart is beating a little faster, if you're still a little out of breath maybe. Okay, so while we're cooling down, let's do a little bit of a couple, maybe one balance drill. Okay, so when to start off easy, we're just going to kind of stepping on our tiptoes. Okay, so we're just walking. You can try walking forward and back, walking in different directions. Okay, but you're up on your toes. Okay, you can go sideways as well. Okay, take this as slowly as you want to. Okay, and you also do the opposite. Try doing the opposite. Okay, see if you can be up on your heels, so toes just slightly off the floor. Once again, moving maybe forward and back, side to side. And sometimes also try maybe even a little bit in a circle. So just switch between, even go between toes, okay, and heels. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit of a cool down. So let's check the time. So right now it's 9:51. Okay, so let's rest for about 2 minutes. So let's come back about 9:53 for a second round. Drink enough water if you feel like you're sweated, even if you breathe a little harder. Do drink enough water. But let's come back at 9:53. I'm gonna grab some water as well. And always feel free to just ask questions if you have any. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So whatever you feel comfortable with, uh, yeah, pretty much. If you feel comfortable drinking it, that's fine. Some people, if something more like interest slightly more solid, I guess some people might not feel comfortable, but if you're okay with it, it's perfectly fine. Okay, so let's get ready for a second round. Once again, slowly increasing our pace. Let's start off slowly at first. If you feel like you're fine, feel free to go faster. First one, let's just move our shoulders a little more. Okay, so keep your feet marching. Just gonna have the hands out. Okay, so you can either just hold it in place. If you want to make this a little harder, you can go tiny circles, draw tiny circles with your arms. You can see if you can maybe slowly bring up. Back to the side. If you could switch directions. Okay, so next one is let's still kick up the leg. Okay, but this time bring off the floor, lifting the opposite arm up. So I'll be moving a right arm, my left leg. Guys, try to get my left leg up a little bit. Okay, and alternate between the opposite side. Okay, so just going to be reaching while kicking up. If you don't feel comfortable standing on one leg, feel free to just keep tapping. Okay, but see if you can reach a little further maybe. Okay, but if you can, see if you can lift the foot out to the side, feeling the muscles in the side of the hips. And letting our hips rest a little bit. Next one, we'll do the same thing, but kicking backwards. So try to lift the foot up a little bit. Feel the muscles in the kind of side, back of the butt, squeezing to lift the foot up. Okay, and also try to just reach with both arms going forward. So upper body stays kind of still. You're mostly just moving your one leg. So during this active rest period, go faster or slower, up to you. Okay, next one, let's move our upper body a little bit. So same idea, we're just going to kick the one leg back. Okay, we're still reach over and touch the opposite knee while we kick one leg backwards. Okay, so we kind of kicking one leg, okay, and kind of bending over a little bit more in the upper body. Okay, so you can even just touch your thighs if you want to. Okay, let's see if you can almost imagine you're reaching down a little bit more. Okay. Next one, very similar idea when taking a step out. Okay, when you bend down a little bit and still touch our opposite knee. Okay, so just a step sideways, reaching over, try to touch the thigh or even just point to the opposite knee and alternating between the two sides. Okay, so I'll be stepping over, reach over, point towards the opposite knee, and you can always take bigger steps, faster movements. Okay, a little bit more coordination. So remember, you can just do small steps and small reach as well if you want to. Okay, so next one, very similar, but we're stepping forward this time. Okay, so we take a step forward, reach a little bit further forward this time again. See if you can coordinate opposite hands and legs again. So you step out your left, reach to your right, okay, and opposite for the other side. Okay, so step and reach, step and reach. Take it just as slow if you want to. You can also go faster. Okay, to do smaller steps if your knees bother you. See if you can just add a little bit more of a reach at the end, even if you're taking a smaller step. Okay, if you feel like you're slowed down a little bit, maybe pick up the pace during this time. Okay, this time let's reach upwards. Okay, so let's stop moving feet for a second. We're just going to be sitting back, butt back a little bit while we stand up. We're going to reach up. So butts back, and reach. Okay, try to go on our tiptoes if you feel comfortable. Okay, no need to sit too far down if your knees bother you. That one might be a little bit more tiring since we're using more muscles at the same time. Okay, next one very similar. Okay, but this time instead of reaching straight up, you're going to reach in alternating sides. So it's going to be squatting down a little bit, reach up to the opposite side, squat down, reach up to the opposite side. Okay, so squat down, study off to one side. And just feel your weight also moving from leg to leg. You can of course squat down lower to make this harder. Give you more breaths. Let me slow down a little bit here. Okay, if you're very tired, still try to keep moving. Okay, so you can just be pumping your legs if you want. Okay, but keep moving in some ways until you feel like your heart rate is closer back to normal. Okay, so last one, let's just still do a normal march. Okay, faster or slower, depending on yourself. If you feel fine, you can go a little faster. If you feel like you were a little tired from the previous two, maybe slow down a little bit more. Okay, and definitely slow down your pace. But keep moving your legs. Even if you do need to sit down, keep pumping your legs a little bit. So could be just kind of pumping your heels up and down, even if you're seated down. Okay, so let's still do a little bit kind of balance just for cooling down. Okay, so now we're just going to practice reaching down a little bit more. Okay, so you can just come walk a few steps, see if you can reach down a little bit. Okay, so how low you reach is completely up to you. Okay, so see if you can reach down a little bit more if you want. Okay, you can try to reach in slightly different directions. Okay, so kind of reaching maybe off to one side a little bit more. Okay, so once again, take this as slowly as you want to. There's still a cool down. Okay, just take this really slowly. If you want to make this harder, see if you can reach one leg back a little bit. Right, so different ways to reach down. Okay, but only if you feel comfortable. Okay, so kind of the main thing is actually move from the hips a little bit more. Sometimes we always kind of almost squat down to reach, which is difficult. You really want to be bending over from the hips, kind of what we practice in other classes. Some people prefer kind of having one leg back, but I'm still bending over my hips, so my knees are not actually, my thighs are actually not working all that hard. It's mostly more my back and my hip muscles. Okay, so let's check the time. Right now it's about 10:05. Okay, so let's 2-minute break once again, so about 10:07. Let's come back and do our first and last round then. If you're new, remember that you don't have to do the entire class. You can just stop. You can stop at any point. You can always use this, once again, use this rest period to do some form of stretches or do something that you need to work a little bit more on. So my neck is, I think it's still a little stiff. So I did hurt my back a little bit last week. So I'm just going to spend, once again, a little bit more time stretching while I'm just taking a break. Okay, so roughly 10:07. Okay, so let's do our final round, or final set rather. Slowly going back out to our target pace. Okay, so first one, let's exaggerate our motion. So let's try to march, I guess almost like a soldier, with straight arms and legs. Okay, slightly more exaggerated. Still trying to stay tall as we lift the foot up. Gonna bring our arms back a little bit even. A little more effort in the front of the hips. Next one, let's just move the back of the legs a little bit more. Okay, so we're just going to be kind of putting your hands behind our butt. Okay, and your goal is to try to get your hands and heels closer together. If you don't feel comfortable with your hands behind, just keep it to the side. Okay, but still try to kick the heel up a little bit more. Get your heel closer to your butt. If you can get it to touch, that's great. If you can't, that's okay as well. You just feel the muscle in the back of the thighs working a little harder. Your weight is still probably shifting side to side a little bit. And just take an active break in between. Okay, next one, similar motion, lower leg. You're still shifting side to side. You're still kicking one heel up. Okay, but our hands are just going to be moving kind of side to side. Okay, while we are shifting our lower body side to side and kicking one heel up. Okay, so feet probably a little higher. Okay, and you're just going to bring it, your arms front to back. Okay, while kicking up one foot. Okay, you're going to make this harder. You can just get your arms a little bit higher up. So next one, almost the same movement. We'll just add one more step to make it a little more complicated. So instead of shifting immediately to one side to side, you're going to add a mini squat in between. Okay, so if you kind of squat in there, shift to one leg, squat back there, go to the other side. Okay, so if you kind of squat and up, squat and up. Okay, so just one more step in between. Okay, so you can do just a very tiny squat. You can also do a much deeper squat if you want to make this harder. The arms, once again, can be just high up if you want, lower down as well. Okay, just a little more coordination, one more step in between. Okay, back to the marching for 30 seconds or so. Okay, next one, still very similar idea, still moving side to side. Okay, but this time we're crossing our leg a little bit further behind. Okay, so you're just going to be reaching one leg behind the other. If you feel comfortable, you can cross over a little bit more. Okay, but you can start off with just right behind or slightly behind. Okay, arms, just do whatever you need to do to stay balanced. So if you want to, you can go faster. Okay, next one, similar idea, but instead of crossing behind, let's cross in front. You might have to take this a little bit slower. Okay, so we still a little bit more turning of the hips. Instead of going faster, see if you can do 2 on one side before switching. Okay, so the last one, if you did twice in a row, you probably feel your abs stiffened a little bit. Okay, so next one, we're just going to be slightly wider stance. We're going to not move our legs, we're just moving our arms. Okay, so just kind of bouncing back and forth. Okay, and slowly see if you can just go a little bit faster, a little bit smaller motion in between. Arms straight is harder than arms bent. Okay, but just small motion side to side. Feel your abdominal muscles are going to stiffen a little bit more. Okay, and deep breath in. Okay, so anytime you have your abdominal muscles stiffen, it's hard to take a bigger breath in and out. You have to take shorter breaths in, shorter breaths out. Okay, next one, similar idea. Since it's side to side, let's also try a circle this time. Okay, so just maybe squat down slightly, draw a circle. Okay, in 15 seconds, we're going to switch directions. Okay, so the motion doesn't have to be too big. Okay, but kind of a relatively quicker pace. Okay, and switch directions. Shoulders probably getting a little tired. Okay, let's go in for 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this one, let's just do both arms together, a little bit faster. Okay, actually, let's stop our feet moving, and let's imagine we're just, when we cross-country ski and you're trying to shove something back as you squat down. Okay, you can think of you're trying to throw something towards the ground behind you. Okay, so that was our last 10 minutes. Okay, so let's once again slow back down. Still trying to keep moving in some ways. Also try to slow down your breathing a little bit. Just means take a deeper breath in. Make sure you get all the air out. Okay, so while we're cooling down, let's still work on some basic footsteps. Since we did the crossing steps already, let's kind of practice that. Okay, so you're still going to just put one foot in front of the other, bring it back out, put the other foot maybe slightly behind. So you're just going kind of side to side as you kind of crisscross your legs. Okay, generally speaking, kind of look roughly in front of you. Sometimes you look towards the ground, you tend to lose your balance more easily that way. If you feel comfortable, you can try to see if you can cross your legs a little bit more, but only if you feel comfortable. Use support if you need to. Okay, if you're very comfortable, you can go kind of a bit quicker, but still treat this as a cool down, so don't go too fast. Okay, and let's do some final stretches for cool down. So we're still stretching the muscle we're using more. So still grab a chair. Usual stretch, do the calf stretch. If a block, something you can't do that. But pretty much just put one foot up, okay, and try to get your hips close together. My chair kind of slides, so I'm going to use my block to get my toes up. Pretty much anything that can get your toes higher than your heels, that's good. And try to get your hips over your foot. Okay, and the stretch is just behind the lower leg. Practice the deep breathing, which just means taking a deeper breath in and a slower breath out. Kind of aim for about 5 deep breaths. Okay, switch sides whenever you've done about 5 breaths. You can also want to pay attention to where you're breathing into. So ideally, you want to breathe into the diaphragm, which is just roughly, you can think of that as a belly area. And so your belly should expand as you breathe in, okay, and kind of shrinks down a little bit as you breathe out. Front of the hips. Just one foot forward, one foot back. Widen your stance for balance. Turn your toes out for balance. Okay, so this is my left side. Okay, try to press the left side forward. Try to lift the front of your pelvis up a little bit until you feel more of a stretch in the front of the leg. And lean backwards a little bit if you want to. Okay, so that muscle front of the hips actually connect to our spine, kind of cut this way. Okay, so we can stretch out that part as well. So left arm, left leg, or right arm, right leg. You certainly breathe in while you press your hips forward. Okay, breathing out, you can come back. Okay, so you're reaching across the body and slightly backwards. Okay, so I'm pressing my left side, my body forward, including my hips, including my little bit of my ribs. I'm trying to take a deep breath in at the same time as I reach up. So I come back, shake things off if you need to. Switch whenever you're ready. Okay, so I'm doing my right hand, right arm, right leg this side. Okay, so still try to bring the front of your pelvis up. Okay, so your fingertips trying to bring your belt. If you're wearing a belt, bring up a little bit. Pressing the hips forward. Okay, if you feel comfortable, see if you can reach across and backwards. And deep breath in. Okay, so the arms doesn't actually have to go up too high. It's kind of turning and pressing the right side forward. You might feel a stretch kind of roughly around this area. Still keep the tension on the stretch in the front of the pelvis, front of the leg. So I'm trying to bring my elbow, almost bring my elbows up and pressing my right side forward. And one last time. I'm just going to shake it off. Okay, so top of the shoulders, last one's top of the shoulders, side of the neck. So sit on a chair, grab the thigh on the chair, or if you can, point your fingers inwards, sit on the hand. Okay, let you press the shoulders down slightly, okay, and just lean over in the opposite direction. Okay, use the other hand to help you a little bit if you want. Kind of easy if you have longer arms. So try to create more distance between your ear and your shoulder. Usually like to kind of turn my head to get my chin closer to my other shoulder. To stretch and at the bottom of my neck. And I'm still trying to take deep breaths in and out as much as I can. Okay, when we're ready, let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so once again, either hold on to the bottom of the chair or point your thumbs or your fingers inwards. Okay, press the shoulder down a little bit. Create more distance between your shoulders and your ear. Use the other hand to help you if you want. You can also try to think of just lifting that ear up to the ceiling a little bit more. Change the angle if you want. Don't forget to breathe. Okay, shake everything out. Okay, round you extend it back a little bit. So any position held for too long is not good. So if you stand it up for too long, sometimes just relaxing is fine. Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for coming, everyone. Feel free to ask any questions. If you don't have any questions, maybe see you next time. See you next time.